Welcome aboard our flight today. In my presentation called Soaring Above the Turbulence, I bring my audience into my world, the world of an airplane. The main cabin door has been closed, so please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their upright and locked position. Make sure your cell phone is silenced and all your carry-ons are under the seat in front of you. The changing course, the delays, the surprises, the things that happen in an aircraft. Those things happen also in our lives. So I bring you into my world with metaphors about airplane and about flying and about turbulence and how we can walk through those and get to the other side of the turbulence safely. So I used to just be terrified. People will still get on the plane quite often. I'm the first flight attendant in the front, and they'll walk up to me with their hands clenched and their bodies tense, and they'll say, I just hate turbulence. Oh, I hope there's no turbulence today. Now, number one, I don't have anything to do about the turbulence. People think I do, but I really don't. But you know, that's unrealistic to think that you're not going to have turbulence when you're flying 35,000 feet above the earth, particularly out of Denver, Colorado, over the Rocky Mountains. We always have some turbulence. You're going to take off, you're going to go through turbulence, and you're going to land again. And sometimes it's awful turbulence. Sometimes it's not so bad, but there's going to be some because you're on an airplane. The key to that sentence is through. We go through the turbulence. We don't sit there in turbulence. You always go through, and airplanes don't fall from the sky from turbulence, by the way. Well, not unlike flying, if you're living this life experience, as we all are, you're not immune from turbulence in your life either. Is there anybody here that can raise their hand and say, I've never had 1 ounce of turbulence in my life? I didn't think so.
Mary Carwile is a professional speaker, author, and flight attendant. Mary takes her audience on a personal journey using air travel as the grand metaphor to understanding and embracing key life lessons we encounter daily. She challenges her passengers to face adversity, acknowledge and overcome their fears, and to gain a greater understanding of their own levels of perseverance and performance.
I drove down to Denver to get my annual mammogram. And the technician let me sit in that room in that little paper gown that we all know too well, a little longer than I thought necessary. And when she came back in, she was followed by the radiologist. And I thought, that can't be good news. So he said, we've seen something on your mammogram, you need to have a biopsy, but don't worry about it. So I said, okay, because we all know worry doesn't help, right? Worry doesn't change anything. I had a friend, Kathy, staying with me for a month while I'd sold her a home that wasn't quite ready. So she came home at 7 o'clock, and I said, Kathy, my doctor's going to call me tonight, but she hasn't called me yet, and I'm a nervous wreck. She said, Mary, it'll be fine. I'm sure it's fine. Let's just go sit in the living room and relax. Well, at 11 o'clock, I said, Kath, I am not doing this any longer. I'm going to bed. So I clicked off the TV, and I shut my laptop, and I stood up to say goodnight to Kath, and my phone rang. So I said, hello. It was 11 o'clock at night. I said, hello. And my doctor said, Mary, I've been calling you all night. And I didn't know, I couldn't understand that, which you probably can't understand either. It was 12 years, I'm happy to say it was 12 years ago this month. My laptop and my phone line were hooked in together, remember? So I was preventing my own worst phone call. And then she said 5 more words to me I hoped I'd never hear. Mary, you have breast cancer. Again, turbulence, your whole life rushes in front of you. And in that not that moment exactly, but right after that, I wondered, why am I here? And what's my purpose to be on this earth? I think we all have something that we were brought here to do. Many of us don't ever find that. And I challenge my passengers, my audience members, to find their passion. I'm always glad when they nod their heads that they have, but there's a lot of people who scratch their heads and say, what is it I was brought here to do? Why am I here? I want you to find that out. I found it out later in life, and my life has never been the same.
Mary Carwile teaches universal life lessons through very personal and engaging life stories, both her own and those of her passengers.
I came to realize that that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I found my strength in that time.
Mary is the author of Heartstrings at 35,000 feet, true stories that will melt your heart, and Heartstrings and Pink Ribbons, finding comfort until there's a cure.
I got a lot of stories when I was a new flight attendant. I found that people wanted to whether we were flying in the night or somebody was afraid or maybe it was a little turbulent or they were nervous, I was able to sit down for the few minutes that I have between doing the job I need to do and find out why it is that they were wiping tears from their eyes. Why were they so hanging onto the armrest? And I put those stories into my first book.
Additionally, her stories have been featured in the New York Times best-selling book series, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
I think the takeaway message from my talks is that all of us are so much the same in a lot of ways. There's not any of us on the earth who have not gone through turbulence. When you're in an airplane at 35,000 feet, you're going to have turbulence, sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. The same thing happens in our lives. There's nobody that I speak with that hasn't had turbulence in their life. We all have. It isn't a matter of knowing we have turbulence, but how to get through that turbulence with a positive attitude, how to get through the turbulence as best we can and land on the other side safely. Well, in preparation for landing now, please bring your seat backs up again, bring your tray tables up to the locked position. I want to leave you today with a quote from my first book that goes something like this. When you walk to the edge of all the light you have and are about to step into the darkness of the unknown, one of two things is going to happen to you. You're going to land on something solid, or you'll be given wings. I was given wings, and I give to you all the magic and the power of these wings. And my wish for each one of you here is always clear blue skies and soft landings. Thank you.
Now boarding, acknowledgement and acceptance, awakened personal potential, overcoming anxiety and adversity, and personal passion. This is one flight you don't want to miss. Take flight with Mary Carwile.